Hello, all First Baptist life group leaders and discipleship group leaders. Most of you know I'm David Lovelace, and I give leadership to our overall group initiatives here and our discipleship initiatives. And I got some of our primetime team members with me today. Daryl Ruiz, many of you know. Some of you may know Mary Margaret West. And then over here to my right, the Brian Richards, okay? So the reason why we're coming to you today and giving you this video is we want to give you some updates. It's been a while since we've been able to directly communicate with you. So we want to take just a few minutes of your time to give you some updates about what's going on right now in all of our groups world, as well as with our discipleship initiatives, and then kind of put a forecast out of here's what you can expect later on this summer and moving into the fall, okay? So all of you are familiar, very familiar by now with our mission statement here at First Orlando that we want to help other people. No, we want to follow Jesus. We want to, our mission statement here?
Follow Jesus.
We want to follow Jesus and then lead others to do the same.
It's good to review. It's good to review.
This is my last day here on staff. So follow Jesus and lead others to do the same. When we think about follow Jesus, these days we're thinking more about all of our life groups are helping us accomplish that, helping people better follow Jesus. But then the second part of that is to lead others to do the same. That has to do with some brand new discipleship initiatives that we've actually been slowly cooking the last couple of years here behind the scenes, and we're about to roll out in a more public way this particular summer and fall. So Brian Richards has been giving leadership primarily over the legacy adult area, and now I've asked him to give oversight over the larger life group area that will also include those of you that are legacy leaders, okay? And then I've invited Daryl to move from just being over all of our median adult groups to moving over the discipleship initiative, disciple making group area, okay? So Brian, take it away. Give them a real quick snapshot of your world.
Yeah, absolutely. So life groups, when it comes to following Jesus and leading other people to do the same, we believe that people find great connection in smaller group settings. And so for life groups, these are ongoing, relationally based groups that we're hopeful that people are patterning more of their life after Jesus. And what we have found, and many of you know as life group leaders, is that it's better to do life together as a whole. We understand that. But what we find with our life groups, as we're gathering together with one another and centering our life more on the life and the pattern of Jesus Christ, we can see fruitfulness take place. And we talk about this in our groups all the time about what it means to have an up in and out relationship component. Mm-hmm. We want to grow relationally with God, with one another, and we want to see that carry out in our daily lives, wherever we work, live, and play, we say often around here. And so we want authentic community, safe places for people to be able to build relationships, and we want to grow spiritually in our life groups. And so life groups are ongoing, relationally based, mostly around ages or life stages, but we want to see more and more people engaged in our life groups so that we can pattern more of our life about after Jesus, the way in which Jesus lived. We want to see live that out day to day with one another is what we want to see accomplished in life groups.
By the way, Brian, we've started a number of new groups just in the last 4 to 6 months, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's been incredible. So anything from folks who are been single over the age of 40, 45, been a brand new group. Young married couples who hadn't been engaged in the life of the church have found new life groups. We've launched several life groups that have been off campus. So even during a pandemic, as people are opening up their homes, they're saying we want to get further engaged and connected into the life of the church. And it's been an amazing process. And for all of you who've been leading through a pandemic, man, thank you. Your faithfulness has been tremendous. And it's just been so encouraging to watch you lead your people, care for your people when it's been such an extraordinarily difficult year, actually a full year now that we've been dealing with this pandemic. So thank you.
Yep. Daryl?
Yeah, so our discipleship initiatives that David spoke about, they're really designed to supplement and reinforce what our life groups are already doing so well, specifically targeting looking for multipliers. And we want to help lean into the competencies and the calling of disciples here at First Orlando, specifically around the idea of the second half of our purpose, to help people lead others to do the same. So we're designing a series of discipleship groups, training groups, to help people grow in their competency and therefore then their confidence so that they can share and disciple other people more readily. And some workshops that are going to be like, I kind of describe them like steroid shots for some of our leaders and some of our serious disciplers to help them to develop some of the competencies that they're already maybe gifted at, or maybe they want to grow in their giftedness or competencies towards. So a number of initiatives around the idea of discipleship to supplement our ongoing life groups to help create a network of multipliers here at First Orlando, taking seriously the idea of being fruitful and multiplying is all of our calling. We're all called to be disciple makers and to help be spiritually fruitful and multiply.
Yeah. Another way of even articulating this is our life groups are predominantly focused on spiritual growth. Our discipleship initiatives are primarily zeroed around spiritual multiplication. And so we're just trying to learn how to do, First Orlando's been fantastic around spiritual growth. We're adding this other component because we know it's a part of the Great Commission and a part of what we've been made to do. We want you to know we have actually on our staff team, we've got 14 or 16 different staff members that are part of everything we're doing. You may go, why does it take so many? In fact, some of you have come up and asked me that before. Well, it's actually, we have more than 300 groups now, both at our John Young campus, Horizon West, our Portuguese, and our online and our Hispanic congregations. And that involves at least 4,000 people. And so that's why just a couple of us on our own could not possibly do this. But we're not trying to do the work of the ministry. We're trying to equip all of you to do the work of the ministry so that we can one day look up and see there are 1,000 men and women here in this church that are helping us pastor and disciple and lead the people of First Orlando. So speaking of staff people, Mary Margaret West is going to join us on our staff team here in a short period of time, and she's going to be focused around young married couples and helping coach them and train them and direct them, as well as women's discipleship initiatives. Yeah. Why are you so passionate about this?
You know, those two areas are areas where I find myself in. I am a part of a young couple. My husband and I have been married just over 3 years. And women's ministry has been one of those things in my life, and equipping women to do what God has called them to do for my entire life. And looking around where I've seen women invest in me and other women invest in others, and spent the last 10 years or so really trying to help other women to catch that vision of saying, hey, let's do this together, and let's not do this alone. Let's gather together as groups of women. Let's help teach one another. Let's help equip one another to do the ministry and the work that God has called us to do. And so I think women's ministry is a supernatural place for me because I'm a woman, and because these guys can't relate to the women in our church the way that other females can. And for some women, maybe there is, some hesitancy towards gathering together with other women. And there's, I don't need that. And I think some of what we're trying to do is to break down some of those walls and to say, if you're a woman at First Orlando, we've got spots for you here. We've got things for you. No matter what
your age or season of life is.
Not at all. And just to say, hey, this is for every single one of us. And so to learn to grow in Christ and to help one another as we do that to accomplish our church's mission. And as far as young marrieds go, I think it can be such a pivotal but difficult season of life where you've just gotten married, you just committed your life to another person, and then you get in there and you go, help, how do we do this? What have I just done? But at the same time too, how can I grow? How can I learn from those that have gone before me? And so part of that is going to be recruiting and finding some more people who are more seasoned in their married life to come alongside and equip and train and help these young couples to say, hey, we've been there, we get it. And so we're going to need some of you guys to do that. But to see how we can come along and encourage each other to grow as Christ would have us to as couples, to help our church grow, our young families grow, because a ton of people have maybe left the church for a period of time, and when they have kids, as a young couple, they're coming back to church, or maybe when they get married, for some reason, that is causing them to come back. And so how can we say, we've got a spot for you, like we've got something, that was going to help you grow, help you find your place in this next season of life and ministry.
Fantastic. Well, we're thrilled that you're on the team, and looking forward to your monster contribution you're going to make.
Thank you.
It's really great. Hey, before we wrap this up here in the next couple of minutes, let me tell you about something that you can access right now, and then something you can access this fall, all right? So what you can access right now, we've already alluded to this a moment ago, You know we're all about authentic community, helping all of our groups, no matter what the nature of the topics are or the emphasis in the group. We want people, and you've heard me use these expressions many times before, we want this experience for all of us and all the people in our groups to know and be known, to love and be loved, to serve and be served, to celebrate and be celebrated. Well, recently I filmed a simple tool you can learn in about 8 minutes that can help. It's a practical way of helping your group better know each other, love each other, be able to celebrate each other. And it's simply called a 6-sketch storyboard. And what I will do in 7 or 8 minutes, I'll show you how to sketch out the whole arc of your life story. And, you know, where have there been points of great beauty, where have there been points of brokenness, and what God has done as He's taught you how to compassionately integrate your whole story together. So you can access that by going onto our group leaders page to firstorlando.com/group leaders. And you can look for that 6-sketch storyboard. Also, we'll include a link to that very video in this particular email. And finally, this fall, you know, the last few years we've gotten into the rhythm where in the fall we do like an all church-wide emphasis. And this fall, last fall, it was around stories of hope. And what we're going to do this fall has to do with life call. What is the calling, the unique calling God has given each one of us, and how can we begin to design our lives, where we live, work, or play, where we're able to live that out? We know all of us have the same general calling, right? To love God and love others, to honor God and help other people. But what's the unique Ephesians 2:10 gift where we're told that every single one of us, we're a unique masterpiece of God? How can we help people know what that specifically is, name that, and begin to design a brand new, impactful life around that? And so we're going to be using the story of Jeremiah, and in the book of Jeremiah, how Jeremiah was trying to struggle with a specific call God had given him and the mission for his life. And so this is going to be a 4 to 6 week series, actually a 6-week series within all of our groups. And we're going to be offering you a guide. In fact, real quickly, Brian, what can they look forward to when it comes to that and what we're going to do with them?
Yeah, absolutely. You'll get some more training throughout the summer. We'll be prepared for that. But you will have a discussion guide. Every week, our team produces a discussion guide that can be found online. But this will be a little bit more, more complete discussion guide to give you a lot more areas of training and to feel more comfortable facilitating some conversation. So the idea would be for us to be able to hear an encouraging sermon on Jeremiah's life and how that impacts our life, and then to practically live that out within our small group settings. So in our life groups, to be able to have very practical conversations as to what that is. And so our team is extraordinarily excited to do that. Alec and Miriam Curl, who work on our team, will be a part of this whole process as well, to be able to prepare all of you as leaders for this fall initiative. It's going to be outstanding.
Fantastic. So don't get uptight about it. We'll give you more info. We'll slowly drip it to you. But we wanted you to have a heads up on it before the rest of the church hears about it later on this summer and moving into the fall. Well, thanks again for watching this. Again, our preference would be that we be sitting down one-on-one with every single one of you. And so we're just trying to deal with the limitations of our lives these days. And we want to thank you again from the bottom of our hearts for allowing us to partner and to come alongside you and serve you as you pastor, disciple, and lead and teach the great people of First Orlando and Central Florida and beyond. See you soon.